One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, all you legends. Let's get this one on the road, man. We've got the Cato back here, you know, chilling. She's going crazy. But the good thing is in only 2 short days, I got her trained in the cat litter box. So, hey, listen, as long as you're not like going on the bathroom all over my place, that's great news. You know what I mean? Hey, good morning to everybody. Hopefully you're all having a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever the hell you guys are from. Big round of applause to you guys over in the Breakfast Club for making this shit happen, man. So this one's going to be a little bit interesting because the mainstream media refuses to cover this. And this was actually sent in, like, the topic of conversation. I had to go digging for all of it. But the topic of conversation was brought up by our good friend in the chat, Anson Knowles, yesterday. And I said, you know what? I'll make a whole special out of this. And then, of course, we're going to still do a 2-parter ordeal here. We're going to actually watch the live discussions between Biden and Trump. Like right now, Biden and Trump are meeting right this second as we speak. Let me go ahead and just show you before we do our call to actions and stuff like that. You can actually see all of this going down. Hold on. Boom. All right. So this is actively happening right this second. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. We're, of course, going to have the coverage of this morning. But first, we're going to go into our main topic of conversation before we get into that. So with that being said, everybody, man, I can't thank you guys enough. Please make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube, man. It very much helps the show out, and it's free to do so. Also, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. If you guys are not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Also, make sure, listen, please consider becoming a member here at the Insane Wheels page. It's starting at $2.99 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee per month. So it very much supports the show and, us small creators over here. Last but not least, make sure you guys follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only the show, my lifestyle, and also Millennial Food Time. You know, we get down with our bad selves over there. Oh, shit. And, but yeah, so if you guys listen, all of the super chats, all of the channel members, all of that kind of stuff is all going to be shouted out, of course. But if you guys would like to help out monetarily and not have YouTube take a brutal 30% cut, we have these scrolling down below for you guys. And of course, all of them will be shouted out. So good morning to everybody, man. It's always amazing to see you guys. Hank came in real quick, before, like right as I hit the press play button or go live button rather. Hank donated this. Haven't sorted out PayPal yet, bro. No, don't worry about that. I appreciate your patronage, kind sir. Thank you very much. As well as at like 8:30 in the morning, like right when I was waking up, brother Lee Lance, he sent in a $5 cash app saying for the dues for him and Tiffany. That is awesome, man. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, that's right, SNS. Hit that like button, y'all. Exactly. Shit, I haven't got my coffee yet. Me neither. So today I went with the soda, I only had 1 beer last night. So it's usually like when I kind of drink, I like to have a Coke in the morning, but no, I didn't even do that. What's up, Danny? What's good, man? Hopefully you guys are good. We got Redneck Side Motorcycle Whips up in here as well. The channel sponsor over there. Go check them out. Use Insane Wheels for 15% off, man. They have a humongous catalog. But yeah, we're going to be going into some great shit over here. Bees are up in the building as well. Good to see you over there in Florida, as well as Carney, man. Good to see you. And then we got Anson Knowles up in here saying Biden needs to evacuate his Oval Office. Yeah, well, he's about to have that you're fired moment, you know. We got Joseph over there on Facebook saying hello and good morning to Mike the Wise, the Breakfast Club, and all the haters. That's a W right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, we're going to be doing a two-parter. Okay, yes, I did select a set name for the cat. Okay, I came up with the name. And I'm sorry that it was nothing that anybody suggested here. You know, it's just, it is what it is. I went with Lucy. She's a redhead. Lucille Ball. Yeah. I was like, you know what? She's just going to be Lucy to me. The United States. Oh, Jesus. You guys, Steve is going crazy over here. I don't even know what he's going on about right this second. Coffee and green for me. Absolutely that left-handed tobacco, man. Sup, BV? Not much to start my day. Hey, me too, bro. Me too. Hopefully you're having a wonderful one. Well, he even remember he's fired? Well, no, he won't remember he's fired. That's the funny thing. That dude is like total dementia. Yeah, too fucking funny. I love Lucy. Yes, exactly. Like it. Great name. Absolutely. I appreciate that. I hope everyone is having a nice day. I hope you are as well, Jess. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. The mainstream media is not going to go ahead and talk about this. I looked everywhere, far and wide, right? You know, I was waiting for some small YouTuber to cover it or something like that just to see, you know, I went through like upload dates and all of that, and no one's speaking about this. So we are the very first YouTuber to go ahead and talk about this subject because the mainstream media and everyone else is too damn scared. How about that? All right. So you guys may think that this, I mean, you have to like actually think that, or not think it out. You have to really read between some lines here and what this means. Okay. So this is off of news.az. Okay. This is where I got this information. There was a couple of small blogs that were writing about this, but it was actually in like their language. So unfortunately I wasn't able to like read it. So this is the only one that I was able to actually find. So we're going to go ahead and read this. It's Iran and Russia link bank card systems to bypass sanctions. And the Iranian banks' cards can now be used in Russia as the two countries have linked their banking systems in a bid to counteract sanctions, news.az report citing foreign media. So they had a media channel over there in Iran, or Russia rather, called IRINN. And I'm not really sure what that is fully what that means, but that is like their news station or whatever. But anyways, that's a side note. Iranian banks have been excluded since 2018 from SWIFT International. Okay, so this is where this is kind of like a replacement for SWIFT, I guess, from the SWIFT International Financial Messaging Service, which governs the vast majority of transactions worldwide. The move is part of a raft of sanctions that were reimposed on Iran after the United States withdrew from a landmark 2015 nuclear deal. So the talks about doing this has been for a minute, apparently, huh? You know what I mean? This sounds like it's been kind of like a behind the scenes, like building up to happen in like the last 8 years. That's kind of crazy. And good morning, Bob, over there. I love to see you, man, as well as we got Snurk up in the building. Appreciate you, girl. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning as well. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get back into this. So Iranian bank cards can now be used in Russia. State television channel IRINN said on Monday, which just this last Monday, showing the withdrawal of money using an Iranian bank card from an ATM in Russia. Now that's fucking... Maybe to some of you guys, that's not some big ordeal. No, I promise you it is. It very much is. The operation was made possible by connecting Iran's interbank network, Shitab, to its Russian equivalent MIR, the channel said. Iranians can, which is the MIR is basically what is replacing specifically SWIFT. Okay, so I know this is kind of a lot of jibble jabble crap, and it can be lost in translation. Okay, so Iranians can currently withdraw money in Russia and will in the future be able to use their cards to pay for in-store purchases, it added. Quote, the plan is also going to be implemented in other countries that have a wide range of financial and social interactions with Iran, for example, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Turkey, it said. Both Iran and Russia have sought to counteract the effects of sanctions on their economies. Since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Moscow has faced mounting sanctions, and its ties with Tehran, which is a city, have grown closer in parallel. I think it's actually it's not just their city. I believe it's Iran's capital. Ukraine and its Western allies have, since the start of the conflict, accused Iran of supplying Russia with both drones and missiles for use in the war. Well, how could they be denying that shit at this point? You know, Tehran, and Moscow signed an agreement in June to strengthen their cooperation in the banking sector. In the future, Russians will also be able to use their bank card in Iran, IRINN said, which is their news station over there, without specifying when. So we don't know exactly when it's going to be implemented for everybody, but it is actively happening. And you guys can obviously see why the mainstream media would not cover this. Probably because they'll be accused of some Russian propaganda bullshit. But I'm not scared of shit, you know. Russia has been pushing for the creation of an international payment platform as an alternative to the SWIFT service, from which key Russian banks have also excluded since 2002. Now, I really, really, really wish that I was able to get more information on this exact thing. This is one of those things that I want to continue to dig deep and find out what the behind the scenes. I don't want one or two layers of shit. I love digging and finding out, but it's really hard when no one's talking about it. You know, you've got two little blogs that are talking about it, but this is actively happening right now. Like, this is not just some random shit. This is actually happening. But I wish there was more information on it that I could give you guys. But big round of applause over to Anson Knowles. He actually sent this one over. Well, the topic. He sent the topic over, and I had to go figure out what is going on. And yes, Anson, that is what's crazy about that, right? Turkey is a NATO ally. Well, you know, hence why NATO and the UN, both of them should be defunded completely by Americans. And we say, you know, fuck everybody. We got Frank up in the building. Good to see you, kind sir, as well as Rebecca up there in Canada. We got brother Steve as well. Good to see you, kind sir. All right, so let's go ahead and check out. We don't want to do too long of a break in between because this is actively happening live right now. We're going to figure out what's going on with Biden and Trump. Let's go ahead and bring up the volume. I have it on mute.
We are going to, again, bring those comments to you when we get it. Again, it won't be live. It will be taped. We
got trouble up in the building. Good to see you, man.
As we watch the motorcade go by, I'm going to leave up the audio for you. You can see some of his supporters taking photos.
Now, that is fucking hilarious, Papa. You know what? Papa? I got to give you a W on that. He said, bottom line, Iranian businessmen can now pay for Russian hookers. Absolutely. We're connecting dots. Do you see what we do over here, everybody? Yeah, this is why we do what we do.
Running to the street corner to see this all happening and unfolding live here in Washington, D.C. outside the White House. Let's sit on this for just a minute here.
Dude, I need some Baileys right now. I'm not going to lie. Oh, man, why did my camera do that? Let me go ahead and reset the camera real quick. I hate that shit. One sec.
All right, it does look like that shot is freezing, but as we can see, it's starting to move a little bit now, and we do see the motorcade heading into the White House there. Again, any updates, we will bring them to you. Let's stay with our election headlines right now, though, as President Biden is trying a last round of
it's
diplomacy
resetting
for
right
the
now.
Middle
Give it a
East before
second.
leaving the Oval Office.
It's tripping.
Fox News correspondent Trey
gotta
Yingst
reset it
has
a couple
more
times.
from Tel Aviv. We are going to
I don't know what the hell happened. It like disconnected completely. So give me a second. Give me a second. I'll fix it. I'll fix it, everybody.
pivot over there. And again, if anything else pops up, we will bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox.
What's up, brother Straight Jack?
For a long time, a personal friend.
President Biden welcoming Israeli President Isaac Herzog to the Oval Office at a sensitive time in the Middle East conflict. Israel's new foreign and defense ministers floated a possible ceasefire over the weekend, but airstrikes from Israel and rocket fire from Hezbollah has intensified since then. And Defense Minister Israel Katz now says the fighting won't stop until all of Israel's war goals are complete.
We're defending our people, our brave soldiers and pilots, and I know that you're working very hard to make sure that this war will end and that there will be first and foremost security for the people of Israel.
President Biden still backing Israel as the war grinds on. And on Tuesday, the families of the American hostages being held by Hamas will meet with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan for an update on the ceasefire talks.
You know, my commitment to Israel is ironclad, and we share a deep friendship.
But those efforts could be complicated by a growing rift between Israel and the U.S. over the issue of aid deliveries to Gaza. Today was the deadline set by U.S. officials for the Israeli military to allow more food and medicine to be distributed inside Gaza. The Israelis say they're doing their best and blame the UN distribution network for the delays.
The government of Israel takes extremely seriously the letter sent just shy of a month ago. So we are doing our utmost.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken also met with high-ranking Israeli officials on Tuesday and stressed the need for more humanitarian assistance for civilians in Gaza. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Thank you to Trey Yingst. We actually did hear from Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer on all things Middle East a little bit this morning. I am going to play those remarks out for us here on Live Now from Fox. I will pop up some boxes on the side of your screen to let you know that we are following all these live events and developments going on in Washington, D.C. And as soon as we see one of those events start, we will pivot to it for you here on Live Now from Fox. Let's listen into the Israeli government briefing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David Mencer, Israeli government spokesman for the National Public Diplomacy Directorate in the office of the Prime Minister on Wednesday, the 13th of November, day 404 of the October 7th war. A couple of points from me, and then we'll get straight to your questions. Let me start with the government's latest official data from the north of Israel. Since the start of this war, Hezbollah have fired more than 15,900 rockets, hit Israel, have wounded 662 people in Israel, have killed 76 people here in Israel. They've burnt 230 million square meters of land. They've displaced 46,711 Israelis, evicted from their homes. Just yesterday, Hezbollah rocket fire killed Ziv Belfer, aged 52, and Shimon Najam, aged 54, in Nahariya, both murdered.
Yeah, what the hell just happened to my whole computer? It just fucking exploded. Dude, do you see what happens when you talk about some Russian shit? I'm not even joking. This is what fucking happened. Boom. Can't fix it. I reset. The only last thing I can do is reset the damn stream, maybe, or the computer. But let me go ahead and try to refresh myself out and see if it's a StreamYard issue. So let's go ahead and do that. Just stand by for a second. One second. Yeah, this shit is crazy, yo. All right, let's see. It'll grab the other camera possibly. And if that does happen, that I may even just swap over. I may have to. Look at that. See, it's only using that camera. I don't know why it's using that one. So fucking strange, yo. Yeah, I have no source for this fucking camera no more. It's gone. Bro, that shit is crazy. I don't even know what to do at this point, with this. That's fucking like absurd. Well, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I can do is I'm going to do some shit on the fly. I'm going to grab that very camera that you guys see right now. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to swap that over and put it onto the main camera so that we can just keep going. And trust me, I already checked default settings. I checked everything of not only StreamYard, of the entire computer. I've lost complete source to that camera. Don't know why. I reconnected or took away the cords. I mean, I reset everything as well, like with hardwire. No. So give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and swap this over. We'll just continue watching what's going on in the news as I swap this over. 1 second.
As a result of Hezbollah rockets launched from
This is crazy.
Near Haifa, the president remarked upon this in the Oval Office in his meeting with President Biden. A quick-thinking nursery school teacher moved the children in her classroom into a bomb shelter just as a Hezbollah UAV hit their kindergarten. She saved the lives of those children. More than 30 nurseries, primary schools, high schools have been hit in our north from Lebanon. Israel knows why we are fighting Hezbollah. We're often asked about the negotiations for a ceasefire, and it is true that the US and other countries are leading the negotiations to return quiet to our north, and our foreign minister, Gideon Sa'ar, has talked about progress. But from Israel's perspective, the military campaign will continue until the immediate threat from Lebanon is removed and residents of our north can return safely to their homes in sovereign Israeli territory. Israel will not accept the existence of a terrorist military array on our northern border. We know what their intent is. It's to harm our people. Hezbollah's Conquer the Galilee plan, it made very clear, an invasion and massacre on a larger scale than the October 7th massacre. Next, an update from Kogat in Israel's humanitarian work in Gaza. In the last 24 hours, 117 humanitarian aid trucks entered Gaza via Kerem Shalom.
So check it out. Thank God a guy like me has 2 fucking actively working cameras at the moment. You know what I mean? It's not sitting correctly, but I just did what I had to do in order to keep this fucking going. But yeah, anyways, the show must go on. The show must go on. Let's go ahead and hear what this guy has to say. I'm sorry about the delay. I have no idea. This is what happens when you start talking about Russia shit, Just is what it is. We got attacked actively.
Erez and the new Kisufim crossings. 32 of those trucks entered northern Gaza. The trucks carried food, shelter, equipment, medical supplies, including dialysis machines and water sanitation equipment. The trucks arrived from Jordan, Egypt, and Israel. Only 41 trucks were collected from the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom by international organizations. And once again, our daily reminder to those that say that not enough aid is getting in, 870 trucks worth of aid are simply waiting for collection. Maybe the UN doesn't know where they are.
What's up, SNS and America Uncensored, by the way? Sorry, I just did my beginning opening not opening story and the main story of today that we were going to, the whole topic was about. And then we got nuked. We got nuked by cyber. I don't know what happened.
They're on the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom crossing. You can't miss them. It's 900 containers worth of food languishing in the sun. Come and pick them up, United Nations. Deliver it to the Gazans in need. Do your job. You can bring your own truck. Israel will get them in. Maybe if you journalists attending this briefing will ask them about it, with your pressure, we can clear the backlog and aid those that need to get this aid. Also, a tanker of fuel and 6 tankers of cooking gas went in. Kogat facilitated an airdrop in southern Gaza of thousands of food packages. And
he heard this guy. He's going to go ahead and continue speaking about what's happening in Gaza. He usually is kind of like the spokesperson for Israel when discussing Gaza. discussing Palestine.
Convoy of 30 trucks
What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, kind sir.
Gaza directly through
You
Gate
missed the
96.
craziness this morning.
A tanker of fuel went to northern Gaza for refueling of essential infrastructure. And as usual, a rotation of humanitarian personnel has been successfully completed.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to bread, I've told you.
Yep. 100 motherfucking % Steve called it out just now.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Man.
Before that 12 large bakeries operate in Gaza, 4 in the north and 8 in the southern and central Gaza, producing 3 million pita
Oh, I
loaves
can definitely help you
every
guys
day.
on the setup, by the way, Redneck side.
And in preparation for the winter, the specific needs of the season are being coordinated, and COGAT is expanding humanitarian responses for the needs of Gaza's civilians. Finally, before we take your questions, the Prime Minister last night made a direct appeal to Iran's people, to themselves, not the regime, to the Iranian people. Just last night, it's on the
I need some
Prime
left-handed
Minister's,
tobacco.
Website.
I need some
last
left-handed
message
tobacco
of
after all
kind.
this. You know what I mean? We need some left-handed tobacco, and we need a couple drinks for all what just happened.
And struck a chord with Iranians because it was viewed many millions of times within Iran. The Prime Minister revealed that the
yes, it is. By the way, Biker News Canada
regime the last attack on Israel cost Iran a whopping $2.3 billion. That is a phenomenal amount of money. $2.3 billion. The Prime Minister asked
and this shit's happening right now.
Just to imagine what those funds.
This is happening right now. You know, we opened up the story. Well, we opened up the stream with the main topic of discussion: Iran and Russia linking bank card systems to bypass sanctions. And then my camera and everything got nuked, and then we had to switch everything over. And this is actively happening right now. Basically, I mean, we're only about 10 minutes behind.
Could have done for the needs of Iranians in schools, in hospitals, in their aging infrastructure, in their creaking water infrastructure. The tyrants of Tehran obsess about destroying Israel, but as the Prime Minister said, that another attack on Israel would simply cripple Iran's economy. Iranians are not falling for it. Khamenei's regime.
Good morning,
seeks
War
to
Gorilla.
divert
Good to
their
see you, kind
attention
sir.
From Iran's real issues by attacking Israel. The Prime Minister painted a brighter picture when he said there is another way. So that's the end of our briefing here today. Now take your questions in the chat together with your news.
Let me grab my left-handed tobacco real quick.
First question I can see here is from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Could you comment on the nomination of Mike Huckabee as U.S. ambassador to Israel, the first evangelical Christian in the post? Thank you for that question, Joel. Yes, indeed, the government of Israel welcomes these new appointments. It's clear that Mr. Huckabee, who is a very regular visitor to Israel, has a unique understanding of this country and the entire region, the challenges we face, the routes to peace, and what's needed to be able to get there. So these appointments are very much welcomed by Israel's government. Next question. There are reports that reservists are responding to call-ups less frequently than before. Can you describe the national mood here in Israel? Thank you for that question, Joel. Well, I will sum up the national mood with one word, and that word is determination. We are facing a vicious enemy, an enemy that seeks to wipe this country off the face.
If it bleeds, it leads. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, when you have full-on chaos and people dying, the media is going to, of course, put a highlight on that shit. You know, that's exactly what is going down over there. I see you, Rebecca, and that's some people are like, man, this has been happening for years, or not even just years, not even just, decades. It's been happening forever. It's been happening forever. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, this is geopolitics in full effect right here.
Face of the earth. An enemy which
Chris
has been
Lestrange up in the building.
by,
Shout out to my man out
Iran,
here, man.
the tentacles of Iran Our people have stepped up to the plate in the most remarkable way. We have made a lot of demands on our soldiers, our conscripted soldiers from our standing army, but also especially from our reserve
I
soldiers.
got you.
Some of them have served more than 100, sometimes 200 days
Penguin
during
Posse,
this
good to see you, man.
war for our very survival. And they have flocked to support this country, and they continue to flock to support this country. Why? For the simple reason, as we say in Hebrew, Ein lanu eretz acheret.
Oh yeah.
We have no.
Oh yeah, guaranteed, 1000%. Yes, if it bleeds, it leads. It makes money. Lies manipulation also equals money. But yeah, anytime there's violence, yeah, 100%. This is what's gonna happen. And let me is that out of focus or something like that? Is that what's going on? I have no idea. Let me try to see what I can do
On
with
the
this.
land, there is only one homeland for the Jewish people. It's right here in the state of Israel, together with the others who live here that wish to live with us in peace. And this country needs to be defended. When we see Israelis, when they see, you ask about the national mood, Joel, when we see the violence in Amsterdam, the repeat of scenes that we all thought were confined to the 1930s and 1940s, when we see the Jew hatred, when we see in European capitals and elsewhere in the US as well, we understand why this country, the successful continuation and the success of this country is so important. So the demands on our reserve soldiers have been very, very high, but our people have stepped up to the plate in the most remarkable way, showing sacrifice, which their families have felt, which their businesses have felt, which their jobs have felt, which their employees have felt. But still, we know we have no other choice but to defend this country and bring peace back to the region.
I hope you're feeling better, Brother Warland. That sucks, man. That sucks. Feel better,
All right,
man.
those were some comments from Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer, but we do have a live event we want to take you out to in Washington, D.C. as House Democrats now holding their weekly briefing. Of course, a very busy day in Washington as right now, as we speak, President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden are meeting in the Oval Office.
Yep, it's
Let's
happening.
Head out to this live event.
It's happening right now, everybody.
About the challenge ahead of us, but I'm confident that we're going to be successful because of the talent that we have and the resourcefulness of the members in that caucus. Vice Chair Ted Lieu.
Thank you.
Now that is funny when you spell it that way. I've never seen anyone spell it like that, Straight Jacket. That's way too funny.
Chair Aguilar. I want to welcome all the incoming freshmen to the Democratic caucus. We had a great caucus meeting where we were able to meet all our freshmen, and it's just so excited with their energy.
We'll make something happen,
and
Redneck.
insights they're going to bring to the caucus. I also wanted to thank Matt Cartwright, Susan Wild, and Yadira Caraveo for their amazing service to U.S. Congress. I think it's appropriate for the Democratic caucus to reflect on what happened, to listen to our constituents, to listen to American people, to listen to our members, to gather data, and then to chart a path forward. And with that, look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Questions?
Thank you. I wanted to ask you specifically about what you make of Trump's gains with Hispanic voters kind of across the board. What do you think Democrats need to do to kind of shore up your messaging?
Well, you know what's kind of crazy about that, Steve, that you just brought up is, for instance, in Canada, you're not even allowed to have like Fox News. Like, for instance, if you go on like their Instagram up there or their Facebook or anything like that, if you go over to their pages where they can live stream Fox and everything over there is blocked now ever since 2023. And I think Biker News Canada can attest to this. Anybody that's in Canada can attest to this. But they actually are like the new China in the sense of they're not even allowed to get news media from us or anybody. You know, it's what the government, what the state wants them to believe. You know what I mean? Oh, you have to pay for it? Yeah, that's insane. So you have a full-on fucking paywall. And meanwhile, I mean, I do have actual proof of that, Rebecca, where it's blocked on Barbie's side herself, and she lives in Canada. I'm not going to say exactly where, and it may be different to different state to state, but I would imagine it would be or province to province. But for sure, the feds are fucking with you guys. if the feds are putting a paywall on your fucking news, that's fucking insane.
Get back some of those voters that moved to the right.
It is
Well, I
full
think
blown
as
commie
Vice Chair
shit.
Lou said, I mean, this needs to be based on data, and we're going to get a lot more data from the voter file in the weeks ahead. So I don't want to have broad generalizations of any group or geographic or otherwise without that data in front of me. But I think it's very clear to
No.
us.
I'm not talking about Canadian news being broadcasted onto Facebook. That's not what I mean. I believe that, and I didn't know this, but that's not what I meant. I meant the mainstream media. Like the mainstream media, I'm talking like American politics, American news, all that stuff. You guys can't get it unless you guys come over here on YouTube and you find a small creator discussing it. Or you have to apparently purchase the shit. That is fucking crazy.
That for
That's
people with
crazy.
2 jobs, the economy is gas and groceries and rent. We need to speak to those issues. If we're going to be the party that speaks to our community members and the people and working everyday Americans, then we need to.
Yeah, essentially they're extorting American politics. They're extorting, you want to know what's happening on the outside world? You better pay up, motherfuckers, because we a communist state.
Extent that they haven't felt that, we need to do better. And that's on us to communicate. But there will be time in the weeks ahead to have more conversations based on data on what we need to do, or what the path forward is, and what we hear back from our members and our community. But talking about those kitchen table issues is going to be very high on the list. We can and we will continue to do that. Nick.
Do both of you intend to stay on as caucus chair and vice chair in the elections next week?
Well, we're still counting ballots in California. I think the lead.
Well, you have to have a Second Amendment in order to have a First Amendment, and Canada doesn't have any of that shit.
Leadership team will make decisions on which spots we're running for. Once we have a little bit more clarity, we'll take our.
And remember,
cues.
it wasn't always like that for Canada. That only happened in 2023.
Based on what Leader Jeffries runs for, but those of you who wanted me to move on from this role and didn't want to see me every week, you may be surprised by what the future holds. But we'll have more to say about that in the coming days.
The president-elect has threatened federal disaster relief aid for California on the campaign trail. Now he's weeks away from entering
What's
the
up,
Oval Office
Wolfine,
again.
my man?
Is that something in your capacities as representatives from California that you're concerned about? And more broadly, in terms of your leadership of the caucus, is that a conversation that's happening in?
That's very interesting. So Bob over there says our Constitution is a lot different from the American Constitution, but we still have what we have is the Bill of Rights, and we do have a Constitution. It's just not the same. That's very interesting. But like I said, if you have, in our sense, if you don't have a second, you don't have a first. And that's right, Clover Tag. He says, wait, did someone say Second Amendment shall not fucking be infringed? W for Clover Tack. Absolutely. If you guys are not subscribed over to Clover Tack, he is an amazing gun tuber over there, man. Go over there and check him out. He is extremely knowledgeable, not only in basically all the aspects of actual firearms, but when it comes down to laws, man, this is the guy to talk to right here. He is the best of the best.
The caucus, that there are concerns that blue states could be targeted for federal aid or any sort of retaliation from the president-elect.
There's plenty of conversations to be had within the caucus in the weeks ahead on how we govern and how we chart a course forward on the governmental side.
Yeah, that shit was totally ran under a whole different administration, a whole different mindset and everything. Sorry. And by the way, guys, I know I'm kind of fucked up on my camera today. My shit exploded and then I had to switch to my second camera, which was really weird. I'm not really sure why that even happened. I mean, well, I think we can have an idea, but we got nuked. We got nuked for talking, some real shit.
We should believe the former president, the incoming president, when he says retribution was one of the key pillars
Welcome back,
of
Jess.
his political platform. We're always concerned that he's going to take it out on
All right, we are going to dip into this as we are getting video of President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden meeting right now.
Yeah, but what is backing that? So Bob from Biker News Canada says, our freedom of speech is in our Bill of Rights, and what does all the other stuff like the government can't hold you captive, but they do. See, here's the thing. So just because you have a piece of paper that states that you have the freedom of speech, what happens when what's to stop the government from saying, you know what? Your little piece of paper that you thought you had right here, that you thought that said that you have freedom of speech? No, you don't. No, you don't. What actual rights come down to is a matter of force. Every single time, it's what can you enforce? What can you do in strength? That's the only way you're going to have it. Hence why I always say you can't have the First Amendment without the Second Amendment. You have to be able to protect it. And if you have no force behind you, the government can just go, whoop. Yeah, you thought you had this shit? We'll allow you guys to think you have it.
Office, we're going to pivot there right now.
Okay, here's the full-on meeting right now. This happening like 10 minutes ago. Let's go. Like, we got to hear this shit out. I'm going to really try not to pause and break on this.
You can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Damn, they're screaming at each other. Listen to them screaming in there like a whole bunch of crazy motherfuckers in there. Damn.
Okay, so we are listening in as this meeting is going on right now between President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden. As you can hear from this background noise, the press yelling a lot of questions towards both Trump and Biden. It does appear as though someone is.
All I hear is a whole bunch of women screaming in the background. Man, shut up and sit down.
Them to leave the room, the press. So if we do get any further video of this, if we do get any audio between Trump and Biden that we can share with you a little bit later here live now from Fox, we will. But again, as it appears, they are trying to usher the press out of the room. But again, giving you that live look right now out of the Oval Office as President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden meeting today, right this moment, as they begin that transition of power. For right now, we are going to go away for a quick 2-minute break, and we'll head right back out to the House Democrats when we come back, as they were holding a briefing on the election results and how we move forward from here. We'll be right back.
Yep, that's right, Anson. Facts. All right, let's go ahead and skip past their little 2-minute break here. I want to hear this.
So smooth.
This is what I want to hear.
A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Man, that's right. Real quick, Carney just called you motherfuckers out. Hey, listen. It's free to do so. Hit that like button, man. If you guys are enjoying the content, I very much appreciate you guys. It helps out the show way more than you guys could ever imagine, man. And I really, it's free to do so, by the way. It's free to do so. Yes, those are idiots screaming at both of these two as if they're going to listen and answer what the fuck they're screaming in that room. Unbelievable behavior by the press. This is insane. This is insane.
Today, Mr. President. President-elect Trump, do you agree with Pete Hegseth? Do you think women should not serve in combat roles?
Wow.
All right.
Listen
so
to this
we are
bullshit.
getting word that this was playback. This was taped moments ago, and we do have those full comments for you. So what we're going to do right now
Thank
is we're
you.
just going to pop up this image right now to just give you a perspective of who Trump has chosen thus far for his cabinet. So let's start from the beginning here, from left to right, as we can get those comments for you here on Live Now from Fox.
What's up,
to bring
Jason,
you that
man?
conversation. He has chosen Secretary of Defense. He has chosen Pete Hegseth, and that is going to be, he's a Fox News Channel
What's
host,
up, Marto?
Pete Hegseth, and he's going to lead the Department of Defense. President-elect Donald Trump selected him as he's a military veteran, a popular.
He doesn't even know where he's at, Rebecca. His whole team was like, you have to sit here and listen to these crazies real quick. Just sit here. Just don't say nothing. Just put on a smile.
Conservative media personality, and he actually has a pretty large following of his own. It is of note, though, that again, like I said, he's a veteran. But he does have a record of defunding.
That's right, straight jacket.
Service members accused of war crimes. He did serve in the military, although he lacks senior military or national security experience. We did also want to turn over to President-elect Donald Trump announcing on Tuesday that he's appointing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to serve as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security in his upcoming administration. Noem was once considered a
That's right,
potential running
Dwayne.
mate for
Appreciate you,
Trump.
bro.
She served as the governor of the Mount Rushmore state since 2019. Since becoming governor, Noem was South Dakota's at-large congresswoman from 2011 to 2019.
That's exactly how it comes down every single time. The only way that you have rights is it just boils down every single time. You could say it's all these other aspects. You can. But what it boils down to is force. If you have the force to enforce those rights. Yeah.
And last but not least, if you look to the right-hand corner of your screen, there's CIA Director John Ratcliffe. He has been chosen by President-elect Donald Trump to be the CIA Director. Here's a little bit about
Man, you guys speak for your own state there, because we got some bomb-ass Chinese food right here in my town. I got like 2 or 3 of them that are like super bomb. Just saying, you know, like full on sit down, the original Chinese style. You know that I know some Chinese food if I grew up in Southern California. You know what I mean? You know that I know some authentic shit, just like Straight Jacket says. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. All right.
A little bit of backstory. This is his second stint with the Trump administration, as he served as Director of National Intelligence for the final months of Trump's first term, leading American spy agencies during the coronavirus pandemic, and as the U.S. government contended with foreign efforts to interfere in the 2020 presidential election. His past experience in intelligence makes him a more traditional pick for the job, which requires Senate confirmation than some rumored loyalists pushed by some of Trump's supporters. Again, these are the 3 people that we are bringing you right now as a Trump administration picks potential members of Trump's second cabinet. And
I told you guys that it was going to be used. I told you guys because the shit was pushed back into what, January? I forget the exact day. It got pushed to. But anyways, I knew that that was going to be used against him in this aspect. I knew exactly. That's exactly what I called out yesterday. We watched him not get sentenced. He's not found guilty yet or anything. That none of that has happened. And yet people are going to go ahead and use that. Yeah, I knew that was happening. I knew that was going to happen.
That we can try to bring in those full comments for you from President Biden as well as President-elect Donald Trump in the Oval Office moments ago. A very brief meeting, to be sure, but we are going to try to bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox. I also did want to share this one other image with you, as we do want to let you know we are keeping an eye on this as well. This is what's called a media stakeout there outside of the White House. This podium setup, we are having reporters out there, Fox reporters. Who
Bro, 100%. Long Beach for damn sure. That's where I grew up on that shit. Yeah, 100%. If you grew up in Long Beach, you know some good Chinese food.
Going to keep an eye on this for us. If anyone does step out
of
the White House to give a statement, we will bring it to you here at Live Raw and Unfiltered, as we always do on Live Now from Fox.
No, it was the judge that ran out the clock. The judge did that and decided to do that because there was way too much press, way too much shit going on, guaranteed, and they weren't going to be able to actually, convict him of anything. So what do they go ahead and do? They just fucking put it into the next news cycle once everything calms down in January and shit like that. And people aren't this attached to this shit. Then yeah, we'll hear either a thrown out verdict or a not guilty.
Let's head to that 2-minute break so that when we come back, we can try to bring you those
fuck your
comments.
guys' 2-minute breaks. I want to hear these comments. Okay.
So we did bring in those comments between President-elect Donald Trump and President
That's right,
Biden.
Morto.
It is short. It's only about a minute or two in length, but we did want to bring it to you
Man,
here.
stop the cat.
Live, Ron, unfiltered. Again, moments ago in the Oval Office. Let's turn over and listen in.
Yeah, I want to actually hear what they had to say and not the press just fucking screaming over these people. Why? Acting like dogs out here. Play it. That's Fox's end, not me. There we go.
Welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough. And it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today. And I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as...
Well, actually, it came down to evidence that was not supposed to be brought up or whatever. And then on that basis alone, they'll probably have to throw it out. But this whole thing was a witch hunt anyways.
You can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
That's it? God damn, I cannot listen to these stupid broads yapping in the back. They're not even yapping. There's full on yelling yapping. God. People suck.
Again, so as I said, very brief comments there between the two of them, but we are going to keep an eye on this for you. Again, we do have this media stakeout outside of the White House there, and we are keeping an eye on if anyone does come out to speak on what was said
Reporter
between the
prattle.
two as they continue or begin rather this peaceful transfer of power. We will bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, I did want to head back out to the House Democrats as they are holding their weekly briefing.
Oh,
we are going to head out there.
This is going to be good.
I'm going to pop up some boxes so you can see
Yes.
all the other live events happening in Washington, D.C. this morning. And if anyone else does pop up of note, we will take it to you here.
Unreal, huh, Hook Dog?
To us, that for people with two jobs,
Oh, so that's what these two were talking about over here earlier.
the economy is gas and groceries and rent. We need to speak to those issues. If we're going to be the party that speaks to our community members and people.
We can't hear them.
Everyday Americans, then we need to speak to those issues. And to the
Where are the audio engineers for the mainstream media? What the fuck is going on? You guys have 104,000 live concurrent viewers. You guys can't figure out the audio over there?
extent that they haven't felt that, we need to do better. And that's on us to communicate. But there will be time in the weeks ahead to have more conversations based on data on what we need to do, or what the path forward is, and what we hear back from our members and our community. But talking about those kitchen table issues is going to be very high on the list, and we can and we will continue to do that.
Thank you. Oh, you brought up his volume right as he finishes the fucking speech, you dumb fucks.
Do both of you
Now we're in questioning.
intend to stay on as caucus chair and vice chair in the elections next week?
Well, we're still counting ballots in California. I think the leadership team will make decisions on which spots we're running for once we have a little bit more.
Speaking of California, when are you Californians over there gonna fucking throw new scum right out onto the street? When is that gonna happen? The biggest piece of shit, you know what I mean?
Clarity will take our cues based on what Leader Jeffries runs for. But those of you who wanted me to move on from this role and didn't want to see me every week, you may be surprised by what the future holds.
I can't stand these guys. I cannot stand these idiots out here, man.
Well,
Whether it's these fucking idiots talking or it's the mainstream media that can't figure out their damn audio. We saw that yesterday as well. Like, nobody can get their shit together.
I have more to say about that in the coming days.
The president-elect has threatened federal disaster relief aid for California on the campaign trail, and now he's weeks away from entering the Oval Office again. Is that something?
Yeah, it's true. And that's what happens when they have millions upon millions of people there, right? I give them a little bit more leeway than I would like someone like Arizona, who wanted to say, oh, this is going to take us 12 days for a county. That's insane. Not a state. They're saying, oh, yeah, it would have been 12 days. That's what they were predicting before the election. You know, that's what Arizona was trying to state. Oh, it's going to take us 12 fucking days. That's insane. They have no excuse for that.
Concerned about, and more broadly in terms of your leadership of the caucus, you know, like, is that a conversation?
Yes, sir, right there. And there's a great ass song about that right there. It's called Viva La Revolution as well by, man, I'm trying to remember the name of the band. I'll come up with it in a second. I used to see them all the time live. Trying to remember.
Is that there are concerns that blue states could be targeted for federal aid or any sort of retaliation?
Hell nah. You know what would happen if you came to Alabama, dude? I'm just telling you. Not me personally, okay? Not me personally. But I don't know how long the dude would be in the state. Just saying. Just saying. For YouTube purposes. Not me. But yeah. I don't know if the dude would actually survive. I don't think he'd walk out of here. For real. Yeah.
There's plenty of
There's
conversations
a lot of people that hate that dude.
to be had within the caucus in the weeks ahead on how we govern and how we chart a course forward on the governmental side. We should believe the former president, the incoming president.
I actually have to agree with you, Clovertac.
When he says retribution was one of the key pillars of his political platform. We're always concerned that he's going to take it out on members of our community, even those in the most fragile state of dealing with a natural disaster. That's, I think, why we need to pass disaster aid.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, he'd be raising hell, praise Dale. Absolutely. You know that.
Before we get to January 3rd, there are critical priorities that need to be funded, but we're always going to be very cautious, very concerned about how the incoming president treats some states better than others. He does not seem to base this on.
Wow. What a fucking statement. Some states better than others. How about fuck your state? How about that shit? How about it's us Americans? Fuck your state. It's us Americans. That's not divided. Us Americans as a whole. This fucking dude has the wrong mentality. This is brainwashing propaganda 101 right here.
What is an actual emergency or what is a disaster, but based on personalities and feelings. And so that will concern us. But we can have conversations with that as a caucus family moving forward with our ranking members of jurisdiction when that time comes. I want to give Vice Chair Liu an opportunity to answer your question and Nick's as well.
Thank you for your question. It is our expectation that any president of the United States will govern as a president for all Americans. And when it comes to disasters, Mother Nature strikes wherever she wants to, whenever she feels like it, and it's without regard to party registration. Victims of disasters are of all political parties or no political party at all. In California, specific to your question, there's also a number of Republican elected officials that I believe would oppose any such move to base disaster aid based on party registration. And it's our expectation.
Never going to happen, Anson. That part is not going to happen.
Again, that a president governs for all Americans.
You know that they gain too much benefit being a part of us. You know that.
Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Following the election, there's been a lot of conversations about the media landscape, about misinformation, disinformation, how it may have helped.
Yeah, what is up with the Russian, the Chinese spy back over here? What? Yeah, speaking of, yeah, why is that? Who is that dude? Who is that dude? Some Chinese fucking intel over here. What's going on? You working over there? I see what you're doing. Look at how observant he is. You know he's got to make a report after this.
Hindered Democrats from breaking through to some of the voters who either decided not to vote in this election or drifted right. How are you all thinking about the media landscape going forward and not only formulating the message, but
Oh, and Anson Knowles, by the way, right after I'm done with this news cycle, when we figure out the rest of all of what they're speaking about, would you be willing to come out up here and explain a little bit what you know on the Iran and Russia linked bank card systems? Would you be able to, kind of explain what the bypass sanctions are for these guys? It would be really cool to have somebody that's super knowledgeable in this aspect to come up here and talk about it for a second.
As it, shows that it may not have broken through in a way that some of you wanted it to prior to the election.
I think it's a good question. How Americans receive their information is something that has to be a consideration and concern for those of us who are in this policy space. We make policy, and then we have to talk about it, and we have to convince people that the policies we're advocating for are good for them.
Oh, and also something very weird. Bitcoin. Remember when Bitcoin just hit 75,000 for the first time like a week ago or whatever the hell it was? You know that Bitcoin just hit 92K today? That shit is insane.
Community members who we represent. We do this job for a twin purpose. It is one, to meet the needs of our constituents, and two, for the love of our country. Those are the two objectives.
Yeah, I'm doing the Diamond Effect tonight, and I saw Archbishop post up what the topic is, and it's about the Haitian plane that got, or the planes that got shot, over there, the American planes that got shot over there on, I believe it was Spirit Airlines, and we covered that yesterday, and we're gonna go ahead and go into a further discussion about it today. I mean, I'm sure he had no idea that I covered it too, but yeah. I can't usually do streams during the daytime. I'd like to come up and discuss monetary policies, sanctions, SWIFT, trade, war, the Fed. Not possible right now, though. Okay, bro, I got you. Absolutely, we can always make time for that.
Is a key part of how we meet those two objectives, and so I think that will be part of the conversation that we have. That is the deeper dive. Once we have the voter file data, I think that's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be discussed. I'll say personally, my focus group of an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old in my household often guides my feelings on this topic. They have encouraged me and us to communicate in different ways, and I think that's incredibly fair and very thoughtful of them, of our two boys. And so to the extent that we need to make some changes and communicate in different ways to reach different audiences, we absolutely.
Yeah, you have to, well, I guarantee you, I don't know what his kids said, but I can guarantee you it was regarding social media, YouTube, YouTube live streaming in general. That's essentially what I think that his kids were taught, what he was talking about, his kids saying. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the wave of the future of how you communicate with people, it's not through the mainstream media anymore. No one even trusts it. Even if they do watch it, they're not going to trust it anyways. I forget what we have in this country, a 22% trust rate with the mainstream media. Like, dude, just 30, 40 years ago, that number, I don't know what that exact number would have been back then. But I bet you it was way fucking higher than more than half. I can guarantee you it was more than 50%.
We need to be more open to that. Back. You? Yeah?
Is there any conversation in the caucus to push away from maybe identity politics and perhaps pursuing a more general message or something that maybe won't silo voters in specific categories and make others feel alienated?
Look, everybody is part.
Well, that's exactly why they limit the amount of Bitcoin. They max that, and then they break it down into, like, now, I believe I forget what the increments are, like every 2 years, and then all of a sudden it gets what you can mine for gold, or not gold, what you can actually mine for, like, something like Bitcoin. It would actually go in half value every time. So these cycles actually get less and less and less. It's very interesting. I really don't understand crypto like that, but it's very interesting.
Within the Democratic caucus, presiding over what we had today, the vice chair and I see the broad.
Yeah, it almost sounded like he's allowing emotions. He's allowing the emotional state of his kids. It didn't sound good for. I was actually going to say that, but then I decided, you know what, I'm going to bite my tongue. You know, I don't have to say every thought that I have. But yeah, I did fucking read that too. That's interesting that you did too.
That also come to Congress. We're going to learn from them. The richness of what they bring in their biography, but also just kind of who they are and their experiences that they bring to this 119th Congress.
They're losers. They lost. They fell on the wrong side of history. How long can you be around on the wrong side of history before people start saying, you know what, fuck you, we ain't listening to you? Absolutely. They fell on the wrong side of history too many times.
That's going to shape our message and our discussion. It's that family discussion that we have in the caucus that will help shape it. But clearly, we are learning. We are listening to our members, and our responsibility as leaders
me too,
is to chart a
jacket.
course forward, and that's what we plan to do in the weeks ahead. That communicates to the American public.
It's the quickest way to get your information. If you can find a reliable source on news, I mean, it's very hard to do so, but the internet definitely opens up those avenues because they're not bought and paid for. Like I'm not bought and paid for to say anything at all. So I can say whatever I'm going to say. You know that there's no money behind that to motivate me to say one thing or another. And then you also can tell. I mean, I guarantee you guys have watched me more than you guys have watched hours wise. You guys have watched me probably more than some of these goofballs on the mainstream media. And that's what happens when you have transparency with people. But yeah, you're right, Jason, 100%.
And advocates for our values and our principles.
It's not going to happen. It'll never work, SNS. It'll never work unless you're running for local office. If you're running for your local office, that shit will work. But aside from that, even in local office, I still wouldn't campaign only doing face-to-face. I would still campaign 50-50. I would do 50% online appearances, discussing, talking, communicating, meeting people on, let's say on Instagram or whatever. And then, of course, my other 50% of the job would be walking, going door knocking essentially and go face-to-face with these people. But there's just no way that's going to work anymore with how fast social media is and the internet, obviously, and the information it's information warfare at this point.
The president-elect has called for the prosecution of members of the January 6th committee, presumably off of their legislative activities.
What's up, Battleverse? Good to see you.
Threats, and are you taking any actions to
What's up, Moto Noggin?
preemptive actions to address that dynamic?
As I said previously to one of the other questions, I mean, we should take him at his word. We should believe the words that the incoming president says.
I'll go ahead and say that for a $5 super chat. Only $5. Yeah. See, see what happens when you wave money in front of me. Now I'm bought and paid for. Damn it.
My job and my responsibility is to represent my constituents. I did that. And I have no concern.
I told you
about the job that we did, that the January 6th committee members did in telling the truth about what happened that day. And we'll have conversations and we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm so proud of the work that
loyalty, respect, and love, or transparency. I would, yeah. That's what I would say.
That I did.
Appreciate that,
those committee members, and well, we'll see what happens. Back.
Maybe honorable. I don't know. I try to live my life in honor. I try to live righteously.
How, looking at that data coming in now, Trump was able to pick up a lot of voters, including Hispanic voters.
Good to see you, Pablo. Good to see you, man.
How will that inform Democrats going forward in terms of what your strategy might be? Because it's going to be a big, obviously, agenda item in the next Congress.
Yeah, and the incoming.
Appreciate you, America Uncensored. You guys have a good one over there. Appreciate you always. And also says, don't forget the like button. That's right, everybody. Appreciate that. It is the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Hit that like button, whether you guys are just coming in or you guys are just leaving, make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate that.
Also made a lot of promises to the American public, and we'll see if he has an ability to live up to those. What I can tell you is, one, based on, we will make decisions based on the voter file and the data. I know that there's a lot of articles and a lot of information out there. A lot of it is based on exit data, which is generally fair as a data point, but it is not precinct level data. And so I'm very interested myself in looking over these data sets. I've said at this podium a number of times that the Latino community is not a monolith. You cannot speak to South Texans the way you speak to South Floridians or Southern Californians.
Shit. That's fucking dope. That's a cool little, what I would call a hack. I like that. Hell yeah, Bob. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Process information, Mexican Americans, like my family, or Cuban Americans, is very different. And so,
here comes our identity politics that everybody obviously hated. Democrats, let's just go and continue with identity politics. Let's just keep doing it.
That is what we bring to the table. Now, bringing that to the table, we can have.
It just sounds like you whining. You just sitting here prattling, whining, coping. That's what it sounds like to me. Hey. Just saying.
A conversation about what this looks like once we have precinct level data and information on where the public is. But it's very clear from the policies that that the incoming president has advocated. Many of them.
Hey, by the way, everybody, Steve Easy, he eats corn the long way. It's really weird. He has zero gag reflex, but hey, it's pretty impressive.
Are harmful to members of our community. This is an individual who separated families and put a lot of people through a lot of pain. And so we stand
and guess
ready.
What? No one had to buy that. Nobody had to buy that.
To fight for our community members and to tell the truth about what the incoming administration, the threat that they pose to members of our community.
Hi, there's been a suggestion that, your party has abandoned the working class voter. What's your response to that? And do you think that you'll have to shore up the economic message of your party in order to win back the House in 2026?
That's so funny.
Well, I think it's always about the economy. And as I said, for
hell yeah, Hardwire. Go check out Hardwire. He goes live every Sunday. Somebody put it in the chat for me. One of you mods. But yeah, he's going live every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So you guys got to tune in, man.
Members of our coalition and specific to folks in my neighborhood, gas, groceries, rent, those are the things that they're concerned about.
Yep, same here. That's the way I had the mentality as well, Dwayne.
We can't communicate a message that helps lower the costs that people pay, then they may not support us. And so we need to be mindful of that moving forward. But I do think that that this poses an opportunity for us to communicate a message that works for everyday Americans, and that's what we
See
plan
what
to
happens?
do.
See what happens? Now the bitch is fired.
Moving forward.
Ha! Got him. Got him.
And Leader Jeffries will help guide that effort. As he does, and we'll continue to have the conversations that we need in order to get there.
I love all these motherfuckers that just are on the wrong side of history, and the cope is real. Like, the cope is insane. It is insane. And I'm not just talking about this dude right here. I'm talking about in general. I mean, we have a liberal meltdown day deemed by me. You know what I mean? We actually made a liberal meltdown day. Insane. We made a whole ass holiday on this channel about it.
Just on that point, the Biden-Harris administration did have a large number of pro-worker policies. It's also true that the Biden-Harris administration was an incumbent administration at a time of high inflation. And I think certainly if you look at the numbers worldwide, every incumbent party since 2021 basically.
I can't bring it onto the actual stream, but I can do this. I can show you what he sent me here. Hold on. Hardwire/bald 2028, and it states, just when you thought America couldn't get more awesome. Look at that. That's pretty dope, dude. I can't thank you enough. That's dope. That'll be really, really cool. That'll be fun, man. Let's get it. Appreciate that.
Basically, worldwide lost the election. That is not an excuse because I believe this is the election Democrats could have won. But it does point to the effect that inflation has had on people and how hard it was for a lot of folks to make ends meet. And I think it's important that Democrats focus on that and that we hope.
Shit. That sucks, Danny. That does suck. You go all the way there just to find out, nope, motherfucker, we didn't tell your ass. Ha ha. That's what happened right there.
The new administration doesn't do policies that would increase inflation. Tariffs would, in fact, increase inflation. And so it's our hope that the new administration does not take actions to make the inflation problem worse.
All right, again, we are listening into House Democrats having their weekly presser. They're talking about a range of issues there, but most notably those election results. I did just want to pop up really quickly here this image that we did have of moments ago. President-elect Donald Trump as well as President Biden meeting in the Oval Office. Again, as you see Trump returning to the White House moments ago after accepting this invitation from President Joe Biden to start this peaceful transfer of power.
Oh yeah, it was so fucking peaceful in the Oval Office that every bitch in there couldn't shut the fuck up. Screaming. Unreal. Can't believe these people, the way they act.
1992 that an outgoing president sat down with an incoming one.
Degenerate behavior.
Competed against in a campaign. Again, this is a tradition. The peaceful transition of power from one president to another does not mandate that the outgoing president invite their successor to a meeting at the White House. But again, it is a tradition.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not mandated. It's not something that they have to do, but it's something that you should be able to show to the public that you're doing. You know, I believe it shows good faith. Whether it was the Democrats doing this or the Republicans, I believe I'm totally unbiased in that at all. I believe that it should always be this way so that you show the American public, hey man, like I'm inviting you here. We're going to go ahead and even though we went head to head on this shit and I may not like you, but you can still show that who do you work for here? You know, it has nothing to do with us and our emotions. It has to do with the American people as a whole.
And we do know, though, that when Biden won in 2020, defeating Trump did not invite him for that meeting. Again, we are going to have these comments in full here in just about 10 to 15 minutes or so when we do hand off to the other Live Now from Fox hosts. But we did just want to pop up this image here.
What's up, GEG? Good to see you, man.
In the Oval Office. We do have to go away for a quick 2-minute break. We'll head back out to the House Democrats after this 2 short-minute break.
I definitely want to hear not what that dude said, what that one dude that just prattled on forever. But I do want to hear what the other Democrats have to say. So we're going to stick around and hear what the other Democrats got to say.
Welcome back to Live from Fox. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to pop up some live images as a lot is going on in the nation's capital today. Let's start with this one, taking you over to the White House as we are awaiting the White House press briefing to start.
Oh.
Again, of note, President.
Okay, never mind. They're not going to go right back to that. They're going over to the White House. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is actually going to be really good. I want to hear this.
President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden currently meeting in the Oval Office right now to start this peaceful transition of power. We can guess here that Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre will hopefully speak to that. But we also
we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
I do want to show you this live image as we do have the reporter staked out here in front of the White House, awaiting anyone to step up to that podium to give us any more insight into what is being discussed. Of course, we can imagine.
You know what I'll do since we're a little bit ahead. Okay, they do go back to goofball speaking, which I'm not going to. Okay, I want to hear what is going to be said up here.
That is set to
Luckily,
start
we're 30 minutes behind. Now we're only 20 minutes behind.
In just a little bit, and hopefully we'll get some more information as well. Another live event that we have going on, a little bit unrelated, but we did want to let you know here on Live Now from Fox. This is the U.S. Cyber Subcommittee and the U.S. National Security Subcommittee. They're having this joint UFO hearing today. If this is what you came here to watch.
They're about to show. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. This is definitely interesting right here. They're kind of jumbling around because they're waiting on people to come out and speak. So it's unfortunately super hard for the press to deal with that. They're just letting people know what is coming up, seeing what is actively happening currently live, and seeing if the events have changed. No. Okay. So we don't have that information yet. The White House, nobody's out on stage live right this second. Otherwise, I would have skipped to it, but no one's live right now.
You can head to our YouTube channel. We do have a stream of it going, so you can watch it uninterrupted. Just head to Live Now Fox on YouTube, or you can search Live Now from Fox. It should pop up. Again, this is this UFO hearing. Again, we do have that
What is that about? UFO hearing.
stream for you. It's been great being here for the past 3 hours or so. My name is Christy Matino. Thanks for watching Live Now from Fox.
You guys haven't, yeah, okay, you do have an Instagram. I'll just DM you my phone number. Yeah.
So I'm going to hand over to
Direct message me on Instagram right now, so when I see it, I'll respond directly to it, because I get, after the show, I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of people that message me. I have a lot of people that are trying to like call me and stuff like that, so I usually get caught up on the phone for a long while. And so I can kind of forget if I told you guys that I'm going to do something. I don't want you thinking I forgot. It's hard. It's actually a really hard balance to do when you, I don't know, man. Like I have a platform on Instagram and I have a platform on YouTube, and it's just, as you grow naturally, that's harder. It's harder to deal with. So yeah, I'm trying my best always.
to my colleague, Mike Page. We appreciate you watching.
Nope, we're not going to go ahead and wait for that. We're not going to sit through that. Oh, yeah, let's look at the stocks. Look at this. They're going to give us a live of what we're looking at right here. Damn. All right. See that dip? Barely. Just one little. It's going up, up, up. All right, cool.
And welcome back, everyone, to Live Now from Fox. We appreciate you continuing to join us here. You're looking at the Dow right now, getting close to 200 points.
They're actually having a hearing to discuss if UFOs are real. How can you make a judgment off of that? Like, I mean, they're going to have to provide proof of shit. Now I'm interested, man. Now I'm interested.
In the green, we'll continue to look at that for you right here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us. I'll be with you for the next several hours, breaking down the day's biggest top stories, live feeds, and of course, when breaking news happens, you know we have you covered.
By the way,
right
Redneck Motorcycle Whips, just as a business thing, you don't have to do it personally, but as a business, I'm telling you right now, Instagram is the human resume. And what I mean by that, it's not only for just us individuals. It's definitely a business thing as well. I mean, it's humongous. So I know you guys are on there and you have a following over there, but I'm just saying that you should personally get a little involved in that, because I'm telling you, you can get immense amount of eyes if you do it correctly. And I can help you with the science of that.
Oh, inside the White House, you have President-elect Donald Trump meeting with President Biden. We'll get to some of the early comments. It's pretty brief right now. Both
exactly straight jacket
took no questions, but they did speak for about 60 seconds inside of the Oval Office. We'll get to that in just moments, but I do want to give the latest updates to our viewers.
I'm actually really interested in that, Hardwire. I don't lean one way or the other, you know what I mean? But I'm interested. I don't have an opinion, I guess.
Now, on the Senate side for Republicans, they are currently voting right now for majority leadership here.
They are.
So this is coming from Fox News' Chad Pergram, and one of the big revelations that came just about 2 minutes ago. No winner on the first ballot for majority leader.
Oh, wow.
To a second ballot. Now, Senator Rick Scott of Florida has dropped out. Now the race.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, so the race is between Thune and Cornyn.
Is between Senator Thune and Senator Cornyn. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on the updates there from Chad Pergram, as he is continuing to get updates as they are now on that second ballot. So, of course, they will be speaking to the media after that vote does happen. We will definitely be taking that live for everyone here on Live Now from Fox. We also have a White House briefing slated in this hour at some time. So we'll be going to that when it happens. So very busy day right here to start off the afternoon on Live Now from Fox. We do also want to continue to showcase once again the latest updates. So here it was, what we are being told right now.
You know, this was done for a reason, Steve. You obviously know that.
Thune received 23 votes, Cornyn 15, Scott 13. That was on the first ballot there. So now they are on to a second ballot. There was a motion to delay the second vote for 2 hours. It failed. So right now they are in that second one right now. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Again, Scott dropping out. So now it is between Thune and Cornyn right now. So we'll see where the Scott people go with their 13 votes and where it will lead for Senate majority right there. But in the meantime, do you want to go back out to the White House, just show you the brief remarks between President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden?
No, we don't need to hear that bullshit again.
Fox.
We don't need to hear that again.
Now keep you at Capitol.
Yeah, we already know what happened over there. It was cool, aside from those loud ass bitches that wouldn't shut the fuck up. But hey, whatever. The actual meeting between those two were peaceful.
Capitol Hill. This is the in-demand House hearing on UFO.
There was a lot of people that wanted to see Scott get it. A lot of people.
So let's listen on Live Now.
Out of Area 51 to go after Osama bin Laden. And the only reason we know about that is because one of those helicopters was downed. Americans have questions about whistleblowers who have come forward to talk about retribution. And so I want to thank everyone for being involved today on trying to get more transparency. This has been bipartisan, bicameral. And as we get into a new administration, the president-elect has talked about opportunities to declassify information on UAPs, and I hope he lives up to that promise. And with that, I yield back.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moskowitz. And I would now, committee staff asked me to go ahead and I will do it, to enter into the congressional
Make it
record
brief.
this 12-page document that Michael Schellenberger brought
God.
today that describes the Immaculate Constellation government program. So we will do that now. Every member up here has a copy of it. The first section talks about the unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation. And the second section about USG imagery intelligence. And Representative Luna just told me if I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list.
Yeah, she is bomb looking. Mm-hmm.
Maybe a FISA warrant. So come at me, bro.
That's right, Claire.
I guess, but without objection, entered in the record. All right, so next we will introduce our witnesses for today's hearing. Thank you so much for being here. Our first witness is retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who retired from the U.S. Navy and is now the Chief Executive Officer at Ocean STL Consulting. Our second witness is Mr. Lou Elizondo, a former Department of Defense official, of a recent bestseller book about UAPs. Our third witness is Mr. Michael Schellenberger, founder of the newsletter Public, and author of a recent journalistic piece about special access programs, including one widely identified as Immaculate Constellation. I swear the staff wants me on a list. Okay.
Damn.
And our last witness today is Mr. Michael Gold, a former NASA official.
Thank you,
who is also
SNS.
a member of the NASA
Thank you
UAP
for that.
Independent Study Team. Welcome, everyone. We are pleased to have you today. Pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise your right hands. This is where it gets real. Do you solemnly swear to affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witnesses all answered in the affirmative. We appreciate all of you being here today and look forward to your testimony. Let me remind the witnesses that we have read your written statements and they will appear in full in the hearing record. You guys may be seated. Please limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button in front of you so the microphone is turned on so that everyone in the room, members included, can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, the light will turn yellow.
All right, folks, we'll get you back out to Capitol Hill. We want to keep you, though, in D.C. We are getting some breaking news right now from Fox.
Well, good, because I mean, I want to hear the highlights of the case. I don't want to necessarily hear everything about the case because I'm not that interested, but I am, like, I'm curiosity kills the cat, right?
News' Chad program, and Senator Thune has won majority
Wow.
leader there in that.
Thune got it. Okay.
Three-person race, then went down to a two-person race after Senator Rick Scott dropped out after the first ballot. So we do have Senator John Thune as the majority leader and will be replacing Senator McConnell now, who had that right for the last 15 years or so, either majority leader or minority leader, depending just on how the voting was happening there in those election years. But again, the breaking news, Senator Thune has accomplished his goal there, majority leader for the Senate side. So we'll be keeping an eye on the latest remarks that will be happening here, no doubt, as Senator Thune will be talking to the media coming up here in just a little bit.
That's
But
what we just reported right now.
get you back out right now to Capitol Hill, and we will take in a little bit more of this U.S. House hearing on
That's
so funny,
mid-air collisions. And if we do not resolve this soon, we are going to have to shut down the exercise. Attached to the email is what is now known as the Go Fast video, captured on the forward-looking infrared sensor of one of the Navy F-18 aircraft participating in the exercise. The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. The implication of the email was clear. The author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of classified technology demonstrations that could explain these objects. Because the DoD policy is to rigorously deconflict such demonstrations with live exercises, I was confident this was not the case. The very next day, that email disappeared from my account and those of the other recipients.
Oh, of course.
Without explanation. Moreover, the commander of Fleet Forces Command and the operations officer never discussed the subject. Even during weekly meetings specifically designed to address issues affecting exercises like the one in which the Theodore Roosevelt Strike Group was participating. This lack of follow-up was very concerning to me. As the Navy's chief meteorologist at the time, I was responsible for reducing safety of flight risks. Yet it appeared to me that no one at the flag officer level was addressing the safety risk posed by UAPs. Instead, pilots were left to mitigate these threats on their own without guidance or support. I concluded that the UAP information must have been classified within a special access
Absolutely,
program
Jason. Have a
managed
good
by
one at
an
work, man.
intelligence agency. That is a compartmented program that even senior officials, including myself, were not read into. Last year's UAP hearing before this oversight committee confirmed that UAP-related information is being withheld from senior officials and members of Congress. And just this week, I learned from former DoD official Chris Mellon that satellite imagery of UAP from a few years ago still has not been shared with Congress. Equally concerning, last year's UAP hearing also revealed that elements of the government are engaged in a disinformation campaign to include personal attacks designed to discredit UAP whistleblowers. Having never signed a
Yes, it is how us men start peacocking. Absolutely. Motorcycles and music? Oh, you know.
disclosure agreement regarding UAPs, and now as a private citizen, I've become an advocate for greater UAP transparency from the government. The continued overclassification surrounding UAPs has not only hindered our ability to effectively address these phenomena, but has also eroded trust in our institutions. While I applaud previous bipartisan legislation,
That's got to be really interesting. Tiffany says, I'm sure our Amish neighbors love it. Yeah, I'm sure they love it. The Mennonites, I'm sure they're stoked.
Passed by Congress concerning UAPs, a more comprehensive approach is needed to address the broader implication of UAP on public safety and national security, as well as the socioeconomic opportunities that open UAP research could unlock. Therefore, I recommend Congress take the following action, which I believe will receive bipartisan support. First, establish robust oversight of the executive branch's management of UAP information by directing
Wrap
key
it up,
officials,
homie.
beginning with the director of the DoD's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, to provide comprehensive briefings on what the government knows about UAP and does not know. Two, enact the provisions of the UAP Disclosure Act that establish a UAP Records Review Board to ensure independent oversight, transparency, and accountability.
So someone came out really quick, but I don't think it was anybody that was speaking. They just came out real quick to the podium at the White House briefing. That's what I'm keeping an eye out for right now. And there is no one out on the stage yet. We're still waiting.
Accountability in the government's handling of UAP information. And 3, strengthen the UAP Disclosure Act and future reauthorizations
Stop
with
the cap,
provisions
Joseph
that mandate
says.
a whole of government approach
Yeah, you already know that I got a whole ass tunnel system,
to
Absolutely.
addressing UAP.
Stop the cat.
In closing, I will share my personal reasons for speaking out on this topic. First, as a former science agency leader, having led the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, I've always
wow.
sought the truth in human knowledge and thought. Now that we know UAP are interacting with humanity, and these include unidentified submerged objects in the ocean, we should not turn a blind eye, but instead boldly face this new reality and learn from it. Additionally, at a time when leaders in government leave much to be desired, I feel obligated to show moral leadership on this issue of UAP disclosure by validating the credibility of the courageous men and women who have come out as witnesses and whistleblowers to expose the truth. My speaking out has encouraged others to do the same, and it's my hope over time that a number of your constituents will want to know the truth and about UAP, and this number will increase to such an extent that the congressional action I've just recommended will become inevitable. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. I will now recognize Mr. Elizondo for his opening statement.
Greetings,
So is this the opposition side, or what's going on here?
Chairwoman Mace, Chairman Grothman, Ranking Members Connolly and Garcia, and members of the committee.
Okay, never mind.
It is my honor and privilege to testify before you on the issue of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, formerly known as UFOs. On behalf of our brave men and women in uniform and across the intelligence community, as well as my fellow Americans who have awaited this day, thank you for your leadership on this important matter. Let me be clear, UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries. I believe we are in the midst of a
Wow, hold on real quick. This is crazy. What is that? Dude, that almost looks like a cue ball. You guys check this out. I really hope that I can show this. It's got the logo. Hold on, I can zoom in. In the background's the show currently. But look at that. Yo. That's fucking sick. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so this would look sick on a whip, by the way. And yeah, man, redneck motorcycle whips. That's awesome. But with a black and gray ball. Dude, that is so fucking cool. Dude, now we're talking right there. That's insane.
multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies. For many years, I was entrusted with protecting some of our nation's most sensitive
Yes,
programs.
sir, Brother Steve. We'll see you on the flip side, my man.
In my last position,
Have a good day.
I managed a special access program on behalf of the White House and the National Security Council. As such, I appreciate the need to protect certain sensitive intelligence and military information. I consider my oath to protect secrets as sacred, and I will always put the safety of the American people first. With that said, I also understand the consequences of excessive secrecy and stovepiping. Nowhere was this more apparent than in the aftermath of 9/11, which many of us remember all too well. I believe that America's greatness depends on 3 elements. A watchful Congress, B, a responsive executive branch, and C, an informed public. Over the last decade and a half, I learned that certain UAP programs were and are operating without any of these elements. Although much of my government work on the UAP subject still remains classified.
Come on. Yeah, of course it's going to be classified leading up. Dude, people were so conservative, not in the political aspect, but so conservative that extreme change like that was not going to work back then. Now, I mean, in modern times, yes, you probably have more accepting people now. But back then, 30 years ago, just even 30 years ago, like people were not comfortable with this shit.
Excessive secrecy has
just
led
talking
to
about
grave
it freaks people
misdeeds
out.
against loyal civil servants, military personnel, and the public, all to hide the fact that we are not alone in the cosmos. A small cadre within our own government involved in the UAP topic has created a culture of suppression and intimidation that I've personally been victim to, along with many of my former colleagues. This includes unwarranted criminal investigations, harassment, and efforts to destroy one's credibility. Most Americans would be shocked to learn that the Pentagon's very own Public Affairs Office openly employs a professional psychological operations officer as the singular point of contact for any UAP-related inquiries from citizens and the media. This is unacceptable. Many of my former colleagues
Listen,
and
I say if the government has information on it, they should just release it. Just release it. That's it. You know, I'm guessing that's what they're fighting for in this case, right? They have to be fighting that.
have provided classified testimony
Because,
to both the
I mean, why wouldn't you show up just with evidence and just go, here, this is our evidence right here, boom.
Department of Defense and the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and many of us have subsequently been targeted by this cabal with threats to our careers, our security clearances, and even our lives. This is not hyperbole, but a genuine fact, and this is wrong.
That's sick.
To fix these problems, I propose three.
That's super fucking badass. He said, yes, we add custom images to a stainless coin and embed it to a billiard ball. Now that is sick.
Principal actions. First, Congress and the President should create a single point of contact responsible for a whole-of-government approach to the UAP issue. Currently, the White House, CIA, NASA, the Pentagon, Department of Energy, and others play a role, but no one seems to be in charge, leading to unchecked power and corruption. Second, we need a national UAP strategy that will promote transparency and help restore the American public's trust at a time when the public's trust is at an all-time low. This strategy should include a whole-of-government approach, including the academic and scientific communities, the private sector, and our international partners and allies. Third, Congress should create a protected environment so whistleblowers desperate to do the right thing can come forward without fear.
Hey guys, don't say nothing to YouTube, but I showed my pussy on camera. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. She on camera now.
As it currently stands, these whistleblowers suffer because of stigma, a code of silence, and concerns about retaliation. These whistleblowers should be encouraged to come forward in ways that protect them against any forms of retaliation. Policies and procedures should ensure that protection, and for those who refuse to cooperate, it is up to the members of this committee and the other lawmakers to wield their subpoena power against hostile witnesses and prevent additional government funding to those UAP efforts that remain.
I guess you can't show evidence in this case because they're at Capitol Hill. This is not a trial. I mean, it's a different type, but they have to get the permission. I can understand. They have to get the permission to let out that information, that evidence. I get it. Yep.
Hidden from congressional oversight. In closing, we as Americans have never been afraid of a challenge. In fact, we thrive on them, whether it's eradicating.
What sound? Let me double check. Hold on. I want to hear. No, I'm here.
Polio or going to the moon. We don't run from a challenge, we take it head on. To the incoming administration and Congress, I say to you, we need immediate public transparency. And this hearing is an important step on that journey. If we approach the UAP topic in the same way as we as Americans have met other challenges, we can restore our faith in our government institutions. Together, we can usher in a new era of accountable government and scientific discovery.
Man, always some bullshit. All right, real quick, let me go ahead and reset that then. I'll be right back.
I believe that
Non-stop
we as Americans
issues today.
can handle the truth. And I also believe the world deserves the truth. Thank you, esteemed members of Congress, for your time today. It is profoundly appreciated by many.
Thank you. I ask unanimous consent.
All right, as that House hearing just getting started, we are listening to the witnesses' opening statements. We are going to take a 2-minute break on Live Now from Fox. We are continuing to monitor White House briefing coming up. Second ballot, it was between him and Senator Cornyn from Texas. After the first ballot, Senator Rick Scott was out of Florida there. So Senator Thune winning the majority leader spot right there. And we are waiting to see some.
You guys let me know if the audio is matching me. Let me know. Man, I hate that shit. Anyways, just one of those days.
Remarks as soon as that
Push
happens.
through.
We will bring that to you right here on Live Now from Fox. We're also keeping an eye on the White House. President-elect Donald Trump is meeting with President Biden right now, and we'll see if President-elect Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States is going to be making some remarks to the media. We'll be keeping an eye on that. In the meantime, let's go back out, keep you in D.C., Capitol Hill, the very special hearing on UFO investigations in this country.
Immaculate Constellation last month, another
crazy.
source came forward who told me that they saw a roughly 13-minute long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait. It was filmed from a helicopter. Then halfway through the video, the person said the orb is joined by another orb that briefly comes into the frame from the left before rapidly moving again out of the frame. The person discovered the video on SIPR, the Secure Internet Protocol Router Network, which the DoD uses to transmit
Good morning,
classified
Tats,
information.
over there in England. Good afternoon to you.
A leading UAP researcher who utilizes the Freedom of Information Act to find out what the government knows, John Greenwald, told me last year that the U.S. government had been increasingly denying his requests for UAP information. He has been doing FOIA requests for 27 years and has an archive of 3 million pages. The government has for decades denied any interest in UFOs, he told me, but the documents that he has assembled show that behind the scenes, it was a completely different story. Contrary to the hopes of many advocates.
That's funny. Oh, man. Yeah, 2 YouTubes going. Yep.
Of transparency, the government has been restricting more information since the leak of 3 UAP videos in 2017. The DoD organization AARO has been labeling many documents with a B7 exemption, which Greenwald says does not make any sense. They're stating that anything AARO does is involved in law enforcement investigation, which allows AARO to not release it. Greenwald says the DoD has denied the existence of a UAP.
And by the way,
related
we're
records.
still waiting for someone to come out. I keep looking. Okay, wait. They had someone. Oh, they're not speaking. They're just going up there testing mics and shit. So no one's speaking at the White House briefing yet. So I'm keeping an eye on that because I want to see the briefing. That's where I want to end this show, is on the briefing. But unfortunately, they're still waiting.
On multiple occasions, only to acknowledge them after an appeal was filed. He added that the Naval Air Systems Command in March 2022 stated they found no additional UAP videos. It seems strange that they had 3 and only those 3, but other requests had been filed by the Black Vault, that's John Greenwald's group, to seek out more places UAPs might be hiding. Then in September 2022, the Navy admitted that the UAP-related videos and photographs existed, but denied the request in full for their release, saying that the requested videos contain sensitive information that are classified and exempt from disclosure. The DoD will deny things on a Monday and then admit to it on a Friday, said Greenwald. He said the government can and does release videos that protect secret methods of capturing it.
Put it on page 36. Yeah.
Fall back on the sensitive platform excuse a lot, he said. However, the on-screen information can be blurred and scrubbed. The metadata can be removed.
Glare.
I'll show you this example here. This is a presentation from the UATP task force.
We got the man, the myth, the legend, Doc up in the building. Shout out to you, kind sir. And also, if you guys haven't gone and subscribed over to Dr. Harley, you guys got to do so. Go over there and check him out for damn sure. Hopefully you're having a good one over there in CT.
Is completely absurd. It's nuts. This level of censorship, of redaction on a document. It shows the redaction of how many reports they've collected, for how many years. 2 of the 3 potential explanations are blacked out. The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think.
All right, real quick, I'm gonna do like a fun poll with you guys in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you do believe that there is evidence of UFOs and all of this, and the government's hiding it. Put 2 in the chat if you think it's all bullshit. I'm curious to what you guys think about this.
That we can handle it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would now like to recognize Mr. Gold for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Mace, Chairman Groffman, Ranking Members Connolly and Garcia, Representative Moskowitz, and distinguished members of both subcommittees. I'm grateful to all of you, as well as your intrepid staff, for the opportunity to testify. I would like to begin by discussing courage. Courage is what it takes to tackle this topic. And courage in the face of adversity is what I see in front of me, beside me, and behind me. Per my introduction, I am currently the Chief Growth Officer at Redwire Space and have had several leadership positions at NASA. That being said, I want to be clear that I am speaking exclusively on my own behalf and not for Redwire, NASA, or any other organization. However, I am here today to speak out for science. Science requires data, which should be collected without bias or prejudice. Yet, whenever the topic of UAP arises, those who wish to explore the phenomena are often confronted with resistance and ridicule. For example, members of the NASA UAP independent study team, particularly those in academia, were mocked and even threatened for simply having the temerity to engage in the study of UAP. Our best tool for unlocking the mystery of UAP is science, but we cannot conduct a proper inquiry if the stigma is so overwhelming that just daring to be part of a NASA research team elicits such a vitriolic response.
Why is he singing so much in this statement? He is literally singing.
Therefore, one of the most important actions that can be taken relative to exposing the truth of UAP is to combat the stigma. And this is where I believe that NASA can be eminently helpful. The NASA brand is synonymous with hope, optimism, and credibility. If you were to take a walk down the National Mall, you would immediately see the NASA logo on t-shirts, hats, and bumper stickers. Few federal agencies enjoy this kind of popularity. I've never seen anyone wearing an Office of Personnel Management t-shirt, which is why NASA could play such an influential role. Specifically, NASA could, with relatively little cost and effort, host symposia on UAP, or even just participate in existing panels examining the topic. NASA personnel stepping forward and participating in such discussions would make a powerful statement to the scientific community that UAP should be taken seriously and researched accordingly.
Still nobody at the White House briefing. Nobody stepped out yet. Just letting you guys know.
Research,
I'm
NASA
on it.
has vast archives, much of which may contain important UAP data. Again, for relatively little cost and effort, NASA could create an AI or ML algorithm that could search the agency's archives for anomalous phenomena. I suspect that such an effort would not only result in information that will help us to understand UAP, but could result in data that will assist in other areas of scientific inquiry, such as anomalous weather or meteorite activity. Beyond its existing archives, NASA could act as a clearinghouse for civilian and commercial UAP data. During my work on the UAP independent study team, it quickly became evident that there is no clear or well-publicized process for civilian pilots to report UAP sightings. The stigma associated with UAP hampers the number of pilots.
A lot of people watching, dude. A lot of people. 106,000 fucking people watching live over there on Live Now. Holy shit. And by the way, the real reason why I love these guys is because they don't give their fucking opinion like that. What they do is they break news of events that are happening. Hence why I love these guys. What this particular ordeal, because you guys know that I could do without the personal opinions. Just give me the facts type thing. And that's why I really tune in with these guys for breaking news events and stuff like that. Yeah, these guys are on it.
Phenomena, but even for those who overcome the stigma, I believe the current FAA guidance is largely unknown and poorly understood. In order to effectively collect UAP
What's up, Dragon
data,
Classy?
the independent
Good morning.
study team recommended the use of NASA's Aviation Safety Reporting System, or ASRS. This system, which is administered by NASA and funded by the FAA, provides a confidential means for the reporting of safety violations in a voluntary and non-punitive manner. Over 47 years, the ASRS has collected nearly 2 million reports. ASRS is the perfect tool to collect UAP data, which could then be collated by NASA and shared with the public at large. Leveraging ASRS could create a treasure trove of UAP data, potentially hundreds of thousands of reports. So
right now, we've got a lot of alien prattle right now. A lot of alien prattle. Fucking Capitol Hill.
Supporting this hearing's goal of exposing the truth. And I'm grateful to
just wrap it up and say, hey, man, let's get the show on the road here. This is where I stand. Let's go.
To co-chairs and other members who have already incorporated this idea into proposed legislation. At this hearing, and as others have demonstrated, the UAP issue is justifiably dominated by national security and defense. However, I would urge the subcommittees to keep in mind the numerous ways that NASA and the FAA, as well as commercial activities in the air, in space, and in the water, can generate a massive amount of invaluable data on anomalous phenomena. I cannot help but be excited by the potential for such an endeavor, since scientific discovery is driven by anomalies. It's the existence and study of anomalies that led to the theory of relativity, quantum mechanics, and nearly all of humanity's scientific breakthroughs. This is why the study of UAPs should be embraced, since whatever is occurring, the chance to garner new knowledge should never be ignored. We must be thorough in collecting information, fearless in making conclusions.
Bruh. Okay, yes, I agree, but like, come on, man. The average person's not going to want to sit here and listen to your fucking prattle. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot to this bullshit. If this is a real thing, then yeah, there's a lot to it. I get it. But damn, like, you just state your case and go.
Open to following the data, no matter how mundane or extraordinary the results may be. I began this testimony by praising the Joint Subcommittee members for their courage, and I will end by echoing that sentiment. As the saying goes, the truth is out there. We just need to be bold enough and brave enough to face it.
Right, everyone, you are continuing to watch this.
Yes, sir, brother Dwayne. That man, hardworking man over there, painting his ass off. I appreciate you, Dwayne.
House hearing on UFO investigations. We are going to take another 2-minute break. We are keeping an eye on the Senate.
And we're also keeping an eye not only on the Senate, which we just found out who the majority won over there, and we're also keeping an eye on the House, the White House. I want to hear that, and still nobody's out on the podium right now. We're only 20 minutes behind
here
so
at Capitol Hill.
now we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
The new majority leader, Senator Thune, to be making some remarks.
Yeah, Thune is going to he's going to speak,
there,
of course,
within the Republican. On live now from Fox. In the meantime, let's go back out to the in-demand U.S. House hearing on UFO investigations.
Judge the veracity of the documentation you've been provided about this program.
I checked the sources.
Also, funny that Steve, that was funny how it just brought my mind to somewhere. I have a legitimate, while we listen to this prattle, because I need to hear this White House briefing. I just need to. Okay, so who do you guys think is going to win, Mike Tyson or Jake Paul? Who do you think is going to win?
And they are who they say they are. They are current or former government officials.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to also add that I did not specify that they were Defense Department employees. I didn't specify the agency nor the gender.
Would they have included non-government employees, people that aren't employed by the government?
These are, I'm comfortable saying that these are government or previously government employees.
Any of them currently employed by a private contractor or private contractors?
I'd rather not say.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What's the key takeaway, just a few seconds, about the Immaculate Constellation document you provided us today?
I think that what the American people need.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily just sit here and post conspiracy theory shit ever. I mean, unless it's happening in breaking news, then sure. I mean, that's what we're doing right this second. And to this regard of this very topic, whether it's true or not, whatever. But most of the time, what the media that at least I cover is not to base out of fear ever. It's actually supposed to be what world events are actually happening. And fuck the emotion side of it. Forget the conspiracy side of shit. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I like to do, is being able to show you guys actively what's happening. But I do know what you're saying. The mainstream media, for sure, definitely wants people divided. I mean, that's how they keep getting paid. Yeah, that unfortunately what they do, I don't know if it's necessarily about fear, but I think it's about division. And how do they use people to divide each other is, I guess, in turn, fear. So there is a lot of lies and definite misstatements on the media side, on both the left and the right. And that's why I don't like that rhetoric from either side.
Need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
high resolution. How many visuals, graphics, videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds maybe thousands. I mean, I also wanted to say, because there was some conversation around concern around the revealing of these materials, revealing the source collection.
It's total fucking alien prattle.
But some of these are shot from helicopters.
What's up,
using
brother Lou
normal
Lance?
videos of oceans. I just
Did you
think
get what you needed finished done with the speakers, man? Hopefully you did.
that's absurd that somehow you're going to be revealing some secret U.S. technology by revealing that you've photographed orbs off the coast of Kuwait.
Okay, thank you. I have 8 seconds. Mr. Gold, did the NASA independent study team get briefed on what you call OSAP? Very quickly.
I flagged the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Classification Program to our chair and our DFO. We did not get briefed, but I believe it is definitely worth looking into. That was probably the largest UAP review effort ever, and I think produced a lot of interest data, including revealing Nimitz. I don't know if my fellow witness Lou might want to, he did yeoman's work on it, might want to comment.
Okay. All right, I'm going to turn to Mr. Moskowitz, who will be recognized for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you.
You think Jake Paul's going to get taken out by that infamous uppercut?
Madam Chairwoman.
If he catches him, he's done.
Mr. Gold, you gave a whole diatribe for a couple of minutes about UAPs, science, data collection, stigma. A lot of non-believers in all of this would just ask a very simple question. Why? Why is it so hard? Right? Like, why are people, anytime they ask, why are they always thwarted? Why are they always judged? Why is they always have misinformation spread? Why is there always retribution? Why is it always met with an ear? What's the why? If it doesn't exist, why is it such a problem?
I think through the history of science, Representative, it is always difficult for breakthroughs and new information, regardless of whether it's UAP or any other kind of discovery. And in science, we're supposed to be open, but when you break with the orthodoxy of what's believed, whether it's Galileo saying that the Earth doesn't rotate or
I'm not going to lie, his response there was actually really good.
the Earth rotates around the sun or the sun doesn't rotate around the Earth. It's always challenging for new beliefs. And the more extraordinary those discoveries, the more extraordinary those new beliefs, it's very difficult. So I think this is natural. There's natural conservatism that when it comes to science.
Man, I haven't watched Netflix in forever.
But this issue in particular has been very difficult where, again, even to attempt to study it becomes problematic. But every hearing like this, every news report.
I hope you are too, Dragon Classy.
Every video, documentaries. I was privileged to be a part of something Dan Fair is putting together. I think many of us have interviewed for it. Documentary over 30 different government officials. Every brick in the wall will help get us closer to getting to the truth.
I appreciate that. Mr. Elizondo, did I have that correct?
Sir.
I want to put my...
I did not see that correlation. I did not, Hardwire. Send that over to me.
I'm a recovering lawyer, so I want to put my hat on for a second. You said you signed a document. Love that. Who gave that to you?
The U.S. government, sir.
Okay, you have a copy of it?
It is stored in a SCIF right now. I do not have possession of it. The U.S. government does.
What department of the U.S. government gave you this document?
I will say the Department of Defense. Unfortunately, I can't say in this forum much more than that.
You specifically said the document said you can't talk about crash retrieval. Well, you can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
Oh, shit.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Said you can't talk about Fight Club if there ain't no Fight Club. Damn.
Oh, you can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just
saying.
making an observation.
Yes, sir.
So that document that you signed, that you said exists.
That dude sounds like how I would be talking if I was up there.
Specifically said you
just
can't
in a state of like me being harsh and shit like that and just funny fucking things to refer to, references. Yeah.
talk about crash retrieval.
Correct, sir. It was a limitation on because already I'd been speaking publicly about the topic. And so the document said you can continue saying X, Y, Z, but you cannot discuss the topic.
When you, give me the atmosphere of signing this document. You're in a room by yourself?
I'm in a SCIF with a security officer, sir.
Just one-on-one, anybody else?
There may have been an assistant as well. It was in a SCIF within a Department of Defense facility.
Give me your background real quick.
Well, just like I said yesterday, man. Just like I said yesterday, there were 0 blue states. There's only blue cities. I said it. I said it. Absolutely.
Background is I went to school to study microbiology and immunology, entered into the U.S. Army, and after a very short stint in military intelligence, I became a counterintelligence special agent. As a civilian, later on, I became a special agent in charge, running investigations in counterterrorism and counterespionage primarily, with some experience in counterinsurgency and counternarcotics. And then in 2009 timeframe, when I came back to the Pentagon after a tour with the Director of National Intelligence, I quickly became part of a program that was originally called OSAP that evolved into the program now called ATIP, which is where those videos that we now see, the Go Fast.
Yo, GEG is fucking a savage. He just made me fucking lose my shit.
The gimbal, the FLIR, that was part of our effort, sir.
Right. So you're not some conspiracy theorist. You actually have a legitimate background.
Well, sir, I'm
That
certainly
was
not
funny.
a conspiracy theorist. I'm fact-based, just a fact.
So when you're in this room, I want to paint the picture of everybody. You're in this room, you're by yourself, you're in a skiff, you're handed a document. How long is the document?
It's about a page front and back. So basically you have some things they call trigraphs, which I cannot, again, talk to.
How long were you given to sign the document?
As long as I needed, sir.
And what if you didn't sign it?
Well, I suspect there'd be repercussions. I wouldn't have access to.
Still waiting on the White House briefing. No one's out there yet.
Were you allowed to ask a lawyer, or weren't allowed to ask for a lawyer to review the document?
It wasn't an option, but they probably wouldn't have allowed me to, because the document itself is pretty explicit about you have to be, wait, putting me in an interest. Let me try to thread the needle here. There are certain documents that we have in the U.S. government that allow people to have access to certain programs, whether it's a special, and I'm going to be very generic here, whether it's a special access program or a controlled access program, SAP, CAP, whatnot.
How many people have to sign that document?
It depends how many people are going to get
He said,
access to
"Stop
the
the
information,
cap."
sir.
Stop the cap. Last question, doctor, real quick. Can you tell us about the Omaha incident in greater detail? I've read your background, right? Some people would label you as a member of the deep state, since you worked in government for a long period of time. But can you tell us more about that?
You hear that dude's rhetoric? He's going for
You've
it.
written a lot about that.
I wrote a lot about incidents like it, Congressman, but that
What up,
specific
Nitro?
incident
Good to
was
see you,
involving
man.
the USS Omaha, the littoral combat ship of the U.S. Navy operating off Southern California. I don't remember the exact date. It was within the last decade. And what the watchstanders on the bridge observed was a UAP.
That's a very good question there, Steve. And I bet you it's definitely in the millions.
Again, something that was
Just this
aloft,
hearing alone.
but had no observable exhaust or control surfaces. So it was something that couldn't be explained. And then they saw it enter the water from the atmosphere and going through the air-sea interface. And so thus exhibiting transmedium travel.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Grothman for 5 minutes of questioning.
Yeah, we'll start with Mr. Gallaudet. During a previous UAP hearing, Navy Commander David Fravor discussed
No rap in my, no cap in my rap, you know?
Stop the cap.
Yeah, stop the cap.
TikTok object engaged in 2004. You familiar with the incident, the TikTok incident?
Yes, sir.
That's
Damn, 106,000 people watching in. I don't even know if they really, I mean, they must be really intrigued on this whole Capitol Hill ordeal right now, which ironically, I am, like, everyone's tuning in for this shit. Meanwhile, I'm tuning in for the White House briefing.
almost 20 years ago, right?
Yes, sir.
It's been said there are more videos, documents, and reports related to this incident. Do you believe the information regarding the TikTok incident should be available to all members of Congress? And in your expertise, what reason would the Department of Defense possibly have for not releasing information that's over 20 years old?
Thank you, Congressman. I don't think there's any good reason to withhold information and important data, especially of national security concern from Congress.
Well, what would they say?
I will speculate, sir, that they don't want to share that kind of information because it reveals weaknesses in our ability to monitor and protect our airspace.
Okay. In your written testimony, you claim last year's UAP hearing before this oversight committee confirmed that UAP-related information is, well, it's not only being withheld, but that elements of the government are engaging in a disinformation campaign to include personal attacks designed to discredit UAP whistleblowers. Could you elaborate on that statement a little?
Yes, sir. Earlier this year, I met with the DoD's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
Department
And
of
what I thought would
Defense.
be a 90-minute meeting just to meet with leadership turned out to be an hours-long influence operation on me, where they attempted to convince me of the validity of the very flawed and error-ridden historical records report.
Stuttering.
In addition, they tried to have me question very valid UAP reports like the Tic Tac incident, and even coming to stating possibly that the Tic Tac was American technology. And then, of course, if you ask David Fravor or Alex Dietrich, the two witnesses, they were convinced it was otherwise. And then, and they also cast discredit on various UAP whistleblowers and witnesses to question their
Yep, Warland. Yep. We're watching a hearing about UFOs right now that's in Capitol Hill right this second.
validity and credibility as witnesses.
Okay, we'll go to Mr. Elizondo. Hope I got that right, or not at least
Close
not
enough,
bad.
sir.
Close enough,
You're
sir.
familiar with the recent drone incursion over Langley Air Force Base?
Yes, sir.
The owners of these drones remain unclear. The U.S. military has not been able to give us in Congress an answer. Given your experience with the Department of Defense and the intelligence community, how frequently are UAP sightings over military installations? And secondly, I suppose hypothetically, you could have incursions over just, say, regular airports. Is it obvious these incursions are more likely over military facilities than just a random airport out there?
Yes, sir. There's definitely enough data to suggest that there is certainly some sort of relationship between sensitive U.S. military installations, also some of our nuclear equities, and also some of our Department of Energy sites. There is a long historical record that some of your colleagues may have, documentation that demonstrates this. This is not a new trend. This has been going on for decades, and that information's been obfuscated, unfortunately, from folks like you in this committee. And I think that's problematic because ultimately, at the end of the day, we have a significant situation here. We have something that can enter into U.S. airspace completely with no attribution.
And how long has this been going on?
Sir, decades. And there's information that will hopefully be entered into the
Can you
record.
think of any possible reason why they can't release any information they have on something, say, 15 or 20 years old?
Sir, if I could echo my colleague here, Admiral Gallaudet, I think one of the big issues that we have in the intelligence community, Department of Defense, is we don't want to broadcast any potential vulnerabilities or weaknesses in our national defense systems or on intelligence collection platforms. Therefore, when you have a conversation where you address a problem for which there is no solution, it makes that a very uncomfortable conversation to have.
Okay, we'll switch to Mr. Schoenberg.
All right, everyone, you are watching live now from Fox, Capitol Hill, U.S. House hearing on UFO investigations. We are going to take another 2-minute break as we continue to wait for Senator Thune, the new majority leader of the Senate, to be speaking to the media. This coming after the vote happened within this hour. Senator Thune beating Senator Cornyn from Texas. So we'll take a 2-minute break. We're also keeping an eye on outside of the White House, where President-elect Donald Trump and President Biden still in that meeting right now. We also have a White House briefing on deck as well. So a lot going on this afternoon. Stay right here with us, everyone. More to come in just moments on Live Now from Fox.
All right, we're going to skip through real quick. I bet I had to handle something real quick. Let me see if anything came out yet. Damn, they're taking fucking forever. Unreal. How long does it take to fucking... They were supposed to start speaking at 10 or no, not 10. 11 o'clock my time. And it's 12:11 right now. Jesus.
Sure, that's a great question. I would ask the Pentagon. There's a long history here of that individual providing misleading and false information to the public through various news outlets and media outlets in order to discredit this topic. I've personally been victim to it. We have the documentation to substantiate where this information has been absolutely inaccurate, that has been provided time and time again. And it turns out that that individual was also working with former leadership of Arrow at the time as well.
And we punish them by giving them multi-million dollars more than they ask for every year. Admiral Gallaudet, you mentioned in your opening statement on
an email you received from the operations officer of the Fleet Forces Command regarding unknown objects almost colliding with U.S. military planes. Did anyone respond with knowledge of what the objects were?
I received no response, sir.
Did the exercise get canceled?
The exercise did not get canceled.
Why do you think the commander of Fleet Forces operations officer never discussed the incident again?
Sir, I'm speculating because I didn't have an exchange with him, but I believed it to be part of a special access program, the information and the video, which we have known now it was. And he realized he couldn't just share that openly with the recipients of the email, and therefore the email was pulled from everybody's account.
Again, tell us what happened to the email from the commander of Fleet Forces.
The day after I received...
Obviously, I wish I could give my commentary throughout this, but I really am indifferent on this. You know what I mean? I really don't have me personally much to add, but I am interested in hearing it. But this is it's kind of almost a train wreck already for these two already.
It, and all the other recipients received it, which were all the subordinate commanders of U.S. Fleet Forces, so 1- and 2-star admirals, including strike group commanders. The email was wiped or deleted from our accounts.
Okay.
And then no one talked about it.
All right. Have you specifically had any experience with submersible objects?
Sir, I've no personal experience, but I've had witnesses on submarines come to me and say they've seen on sonar data.
He's trying so hard to keep eye contact, but he keeps looking every which way. You can see he keeps telling himself, I need to look him in the eye, but then he just can't. And that's a bad look.
Correct. Okay. How would you characterize those, and how do they move?
The one instance that was revealed to me was in the 80s on a nuclear-powered submarine, a ballistic missile submarine, that the object exhibited the characteristics of a Russian torpedo in terms of its speed of movement and closing rate with the submarine, and then it slowed and followed the submarine slowly in its wake for a period of minutes, and then rapidly exited the scene. And nothing that we know of and technology-wise could replicate that.
And the speed of these objects was faster than
You
anything
good, Brother
that
Nitro?
we have or anybody
Appreciate you,
else
man.
has that would be manned. Is that correct?
It was on the order
Underwater.
of a torpedo. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But as it exited,
Well, I don't exactly know how fast a torpedo is, but I expect it does better than my old outboard Scott Atwater. So I'll take that as a yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you experienced any experience with the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW?
Yes, Congressman, as I mentioned previously, I have met with them.
Okay. You heard Mr. Alexander describe psychological operations for those contacting the Department of Defense about you.
Man, this is going to go on for an absolute minute, and these guys are just not coming out. This fucking absolutely sucks for me, because I wanted to actually review it, go on, live, but I'm not going to sit here on live all day. I got things to do, man. That's a total bummer. I wanted to be able to do that, but it is what it is on that, I guess. Listen, man, I think you guys, I'm not going to cover this entire UFO experience. If you guys want to go check that out, they're live right this second. You guys can go ahead and check them out over there on Live News, Live Now from Fox. They're going to continue covering it. So if you guys are interested on that, but I will end up ending this part right here, right now. I think I heard enough. And I listened to enough alien prattle for a minute. That was good. Anyways, listen, there's nobody live on my end, so I don't have anybody to send you over to that I would want to send you in topic and all that kind of stuff. But I do have one guy that is live right now, but right now he's into this weird, really weird science that I do not believe, or not science. It's not even a science. It's definitely not. It's all cat. But right now he's probably, because I saw the topic, he's probably talking to this crazy dude that keeps referring everything in numbers. It's not just numerology. I mean, it's called I'm trying to remember what that is actually called. It's geometry, something like that. Anyways, it's really lame, but hey, listen, if you guys want to go check it out, hang out for a minute, I'm going to send you guys over there. And but with that being said, I can't thank you guys enough. Hit that like button on your guys' way out. I very much appreciate every single one of you guys for making these shows happen, man. So I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for being here and spending your time with me and hanging out. You know what I mean? We'll see you guys tonight, actually. We have tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, or I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be live tonight on the Diamond Effect. Make sure you guys tune in. I'll be live on this very channel, and I'm going to fix these cameras and shit. So anyways, with that being said, much love, honor, respect to everybody. We'll see you guys tonight.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.